This may be my favorite zone of any Xenoblade game, and one of my favorite locations from any game ever. Xenoblade Chronicles is a series renowned for its unique set pieces that rely on a grandiose sense of scale, coupled with iconic imagery to create fantastical worlds upon which very human stories can be told. Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3 are all well-renowned for their characters, world, story, and uplifting message, but there is a lesser-known Xenoblade game that not many people know about, let alone have played. Back in the before times, Nintendo released a console by the name of the Wii U as a follow-up to its hit Wii, and on the Wii U, Nintendo released a certain game named Xenoblade Chronicles X. Disconnected from the narrative of Xenoblade 1, X gives you a character creator, a silent protagonist, and an overall game far more predicated on its world exploration and gameplay than for its overall narrative. It was a massive departure from the original Xenoblade game, and absolutely had its rough edges to it, including a god-awful UI and interesting camera controls, to name a few. However, for as well thought out and provocative as Xenoblade 1's narrative was, X was equally as unique and engaging when it came to its world design. And do you know how freaking hard that is to follow up Xenoblade 1's world design that took place on the giant Bionis and Mechonis, but feel like you were the game that specialized in world design? Do you know how hard that is? How high of a bar that was to clear? And I've been streaming my playthrough of Xenoblade X, and some of my favorite moments of streaming it has just been exploring the world as I take in the sights and sounds, doing quests, and running around in my giant robot Skell. And last night on stream, I decided to go to the last two zones I have yet to explore in Xenoblade X. I had briefly visited them years ago when I first played X, but I barely remembered them. And I knew a little bit about what this fabled Silverloom zone looked like. But I decided to get into my mech and swim across the ocean to get to this new continent. And to say that when I got to Silverloom, that I was so blown away that I proceeded to gush about Xenoblade X's brilliance in world design for an hour would be, well, actually fairly accurate. Look, I already loved Xenoblade X's world design. Primordia was striking and beautiful, and one of the most memorable locations for me in all of gaming, with its rolling green hills juxtaposed with its giant, almost artificial-looking mountains that spiked out from the landscape. Noctilum is a giant forest with varying levels of vegetation that encapsulates you in a quilt of color and creativity. Oblivia is the desert zone, but they throw in an absolutely giant, colossal Stargate-esque feature, juxtaposed with a massive ravine system, splitting the zone in twain. And to the north lie giant hills and valleys intermixed with various oases. So I thought I always loved the world design of Xenoblade X. I had not even gotten to the best zone yet, and I need to sit up for this one. Yeah, I need to be properly sitting up for this one. Because then I got to Silverloom, and it cemented Xenoblade X as one of my favorite open world games that I've ever played. Heck, that I've ever had the pleasure of playing. The creativity, the imagination on display with this zone in particular is not only breathtaking, it is inspiring and creatively stimulating. From the sheer scale of the zone, how wide open and enveloping it feels, mixed with X's beautiful skyboxes, on top of Silverloom's expert use of haze and fog to add an almost mystical atmosphere to its spore and fungus-feeling self. Giant trees topped with spheres paired with breathtaking wildlife and large rock faces paint an almost alien landscape that feels so fundamentally foreign to any of the zones yet thus far. And there's two mechanics of X that lend themselves to the majesty of this game's world exploration. The day-night cycle making the zone feel and look fundamentally different from day or night. In daytime, it looks almost ephemeral, with the soft lighting enveloping the entire zone as the sun is diffused through the thick haze emanating throughout the entire zone. And then you go to night, and at night the sky is dark, and the zone is illuminated largely through bioluminescence. Gives off this light green lighting, giving an almost toxic feel to it all. Like the very ground itself and everything in it is poisonous. Like if you exposed your skin to the air in the zone, you would break out a bunch of pustules or something. It feels like the zone does not want you in it. It has this hostile approach to it that the daytime-esque version of the zone just does not have. Daytime feels welcoming, nighttime feels hostile. Looks like you would need a hazard suit to even survive here. And the other zones in this game felt like places that you could see in Earth, just with a fantastical twist to them, Flat plains with hills and mountains, a forest, and a desert. Silverloom, however, looks and feels fundamentally alien in nature, and leans into the sci-fi elements of Xenoblade X. It feels so unique and different to what has come before, and it is probably one of, if not the most unique looking zone in all of Xenoblade. At least up there with things like Uriah or Satol Marsh. And remember that other mechanic I was talking about? Because I said there were two. What I'm talking about is the scale. The dichotomy and experiences of driving through the giant sandy hills of Silverloom in your Skell compared to slowly maneuvering around on foot is night and day. X's Skell system is a brilliant mechanic that makes the world feel so different whether or not you use it. In the Skell, the world feels just a little bit smaller as you move faster. You can jump higher and farther than you could in your human self. But as your human self, you get inside the mech and you walk around Silverloom. It is so much more encompassing and just pulls you in. The sense of scale that Xenoblade X gives off is honestly its best aspect, because it gives you fun ways to maneuver around the world while still retaining the sense that it is a large world without feeling like a slog to travel through. And I mentioned this on stream yesterday, and I talked about this. The beauty of Xenoblade Chronicles X is that, in my opinion, it understands the benefit of having an open world, that sense of exploration and wanderlust. And what so many games get wrong is they believe that the open world is just there for advertisement, or to make the world feel big, and to populate with a bunch of miscellaneous to-do list-esque items to accomplish, where the world feels like it's more of an obstacle to your gameplay than an actual part of your gameplay. With Xenoblade X, to me, why it's so brilliantly designed, it is based off of one philosophical approach they went into when developing this game. At least what this game screams to me was the developing approach. The world itself is the content. The world itself is the game. And every other part of this game serves as a function to make the world itself feel fuller. Questing will have you go into various far-flung locations within Mira, discovering new secrets. And the actual objectives you have in this open world are very simplistic in nature, but within that simplicity lies a brilliance, lies a beauty, in my opinion. Going to put down all the new survey nodes gives you an excuse to go check out each of the various corners of the zone, find out what's occupying those zones, what level ranges those mobs are, level up your blade levels so you can put down more of those nodes, collect various items, collectibles, fight unique mobs that populate the zone and give it a personality to it. Use your skill to navigate the world to where everything you look at, you can scale if you're good enough at it. If you're on the lookout, because the scales can leap high. Eventually, at some point in this game, you get a scale flying license. The way you tackle the world, the way you interact with it, is changed on such a fundamental manner, whether or not you're in the scale or not. If you're on foot, the world feels massive and large, almost too large at times. You feel like an ant going through a giant castle, where each brick was intricately placed and mathed out to make the world feel as alive and rich as it could. Because Xenoblade X, Mira is the content. And this is a core philosophical principle inherent to open world games to me that makes the genre so special. When the world itself is designed in such a way where all the other content is designed to enhance and augment the world, not having the world feel like a barrier to entry for the content. The beauty of an open world game is the sense of non-linearity that it gives the player, where it lets go of your hand and says, go and explore to your heart's content. You may not be able to fight everything. There may be a lot of things here that overlevel you, but you can still go there, and through enough determination and possibly perspiration of your own volition, you can explore this world, you can interact with it the way you want to as the player. Because nothing pushed me to Silverloom. I was going to do a quest, an affinity quest for Doug, but I didn't have the affinity to actually start that quest for him. So I decided, you know what I want to do? As the player, it is my player agency here. I want to go to Silverloom. So I got on my mech, and I just rode it over the waves, over the water, went to Silverloom, and explored it. Got my nodes, got my teleports, got some new items. I beat a unique, had uncontrollable blare in the background. I died way too much filming this B-roll. That was all my choice, though. Nothing in this game forced me to go there. Nothing prevented me from going there until I completed some arbitrary prereq. I got my robot, and I decided, you know what? I'll go in that direction. Hell, I'm pretty sure I could have just swam there with my regular self without the robot if I wanted to. And that's the beauty of Xenoblade X's design philosophy. It lets go of the player's hand. Says, you know what? The player is smart enough to fend for themselves, to do what they want to do. If they want to go do the main story, they can do that when they want to. If they want to go do some side quests, they can do that if they want to. If they just want to say, screw it, take a day and go to the zone you haven't been to yet, go ahead. Have fun. Do what you want. And knowing that it is possible to get anywhere in the world of Xenoblade X makes it feel rewarding. Makes me look at the tallest mountain and say, how do I get up there? What do I have to do to get up there? And it's a sense of mechanical satisfaction that you don't get through a lot of other games, or at least I don't. Because the world looks epic in scale, but you can also climb it. You can also get anywhere, so long as you're clever enough. May take a skill. It may take the flying license at some point, but you can get there. Because the world itself is the content. Exploring the world is the content. And by being able to do that, gives the world life, gives it personality, gives it a sense of borderline realism. We are not blocked in with arbitrary walls, or some NPC saying, we can't go there yet. No, if you want to go there, go ahead, find a way. If you find it, you can go up there. There is a way, just you have to find it. And when you finally manage to, it is so satisfying. It doesn't even need to give you a reward. You just did it because that's what you wanted to do. You made your own quest. And there's absolutely a discussion to be had with how later open world games took inspiration from Xenoblade X. And to me, there's two particular ones, Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, that I talked a little bit about on stream last night. But oh my god, Silverloom blew me away. It's easily the most unique zone in this game. By far, in my opinion. Just that sense of scale. Again, it was all on the Wii U. Hell, most other games would have walled off various areas of this place and just kept them there to be aesthetic. No, do what you want. It's so nice having that option. The option to say no or yes to whether or not you want to explore a piece of land or a piece of the zone. Honestly, I can't wait to play some more. I'm going to call the video there for today. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below with your favorite zone or your favorite location from Xenoblade Chronicles or from your favorite game. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions. Stay safe out there, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.